Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
You know, I have a secret fear that one day I'm going to wake up, throw on a house coat, put on support hose rolled halfway down, and decide it's time for me to go out shopping. Because I think at this point in our lives, we have forgotten what you're supposed to look like when you go out in public. And there's this big controversy about women of a certain color who go out wearing their bonnets on their head. And there's two schools of thought. One is that we really shouldn't care and we should stop worrying about the white gaze and stop policing our clothing based on what white people will think of us when we go out. And then there's the other thing of like, let's just be decent. Now, there's a certain person who lives in my house, and I'm not going to mention her name, but she will put on her pajamas and go out and visit her friends and say, well, yeah, but when I come home, I'm going right to bed. Who's going to check me? So I'm just wondering, have we gotten to the point in our lives that we don't really care what we look like anymore when we go out? Should we care what we look like when we go out? And who's going to check us? I don't know, sisters. Sometimes it would be nice to go out in my pajamas and come back in and go right back to bed. But I don't know. Who does that? Anybody else here? Kind of throw on a coat over your pajamas and run to the store or run to Walmart? I know you're out there, sisters. Tell me about tell me about that time when you all went out looking crazy.
Girl, I don't know about you, but I live in a place where there are crazy people. I was in the thrift store one day and there was this man. He was wearing these different colored striped hose and went all the way up to his knees, and kind of a striped shirt and a big striped hat. And he had this multicolored shirt on that nothing matched. And I said, oh, are you doing a children's party? Because the man looked like Cat in a Hat. And he looked at me like there was something wrong with me and said, no. So then I backed up because he looked offended that I even said that. But if we are telling, and I think he was really just being himself. But and I have seen some crazy folks wearing some crazy stuff, and they were purposely looking like this, and you were the one being judged if you made some kind of comment like they were going to a costume party or something, and they weren't. But if we're going to be telling on our children and their actions, I will fully disclose how Lorelai got sent home from school one day for wearing her pajama bottoms to school. They were silk, they were nice, but it was not jammy day at Von Steuben. And her teacher saw her and sent her back home. And I'm like, what are you doing back here? And she said, oh, I have to change clothes.
Or she has to change into clothes.
Yeah.
Now, see, I did not name any names about anybody who walks around looking like like a poor, homeless person with, mental health issues. I did not name any names, but there's a whole. If you go on any of the social media, you could Google like outfits from Walmart and see the stuff that people show up wearing at Walmart, and it is like tragic. But is it inappropriate inappropriate for us to say something, and who cares really, Naima?
Well, I tell you, and see this is why our children won't watch this show. We talk about them real bad.
Nor should they.
But I'll put it like this. I have a wardrobe that could be very how would you say, versatile, because I have worn my pajamas outside and no one knew because they matched, and I threw on a matching head wrap. Nobody knew they were my pajamas, and I didn't tell nobody
because nobody asked.
Now, if you know how to dress up a pair of pajamas so that it could look like a nice outfit, nobody's going to say anything. And no one noticed, except for, I think one time I was at an event. It was like a women's sleepover, and I did happen to wear the outfit that some women had seen me at the sleepover. I wore it one day, and a couple of the women saw that I had those on as pajamas, and they were like,
"What's that?
Didn't we see you there? That's your pajamas." So, but it was okay. I mean, they laughed. But the thing is, the thing is, you can be creative with nightwear and it not be noticeable. I think when people don't make their nightwear look like daywear is when it seems inappropriate. Because I have worn nightgowns and with some high heel shoes and pearls, and people are like, oh, because they didn't know that I wore that to bed 2 days before. So I think it's a matter of how you dress it up. But in the case of your children going out in pajamas, I think probably their pajamas, it wasn't the kind you could make look like regular clothes.
No, they look like pajamas.
Yeah.
But this is the question though. Why do we care? I mean, when it comes, I mean, she's not going to work that way. And this is the thing, is that like I said, there's this whole controversy on social media about Black women showing up with their bonnets on or going out with their bonnets. And I'm saying, you know what? We have enough of stuff. We got to do our protective hairstyles. And if I'm going to run up to the store and I got my hair in like clips because I've already redone my hair, sometimes maybe I'll put a hoodie on or something like that. But do we care? And why should we care? And why do we keep checking each other on what we're wearing?
Well, girl, when I lived in Uptown, you saw that so much. People with rollers in their hair, with a scarf half tied on. They'd be wearing a robe, a real robe, and house slippers. That I don't know why you're wearing your house slippers outside. You're gonna mess your slippers up. But I saw so much of that it was just normal. And right. The immediate assumption was, oh, this person is just in a hurry. They didn't have time to change their clothes, or they crazy, and this is what they always wear.
Well, now that's the thought, though, because again, the society decides that it's not right. appropriate for you to wear what you wear in your house, out of your house. So if you're in your robe and slippers and curlers and you run to the supermarket, what law are you violating by doing that? I mean,
and a lot of people used to do that when they take their kids to school. You throw on a coat over it.
Oh yeah.
And nobody knew about it unless your car broke down and then you had to walk home or call somebody. And then you were just embarrassed or something like that. But I think
nobody cares about that. That's
a lot of people just throw on a coat or something like that and jump in the car and you just, running up the street or something. But, but in this casual atmosphere, and the reason why I started out talking about the house coat, because that's what old ladies used to always wear. And at some point, that house coat, which was a house coat, became something that they would wear out when they went to old white ladies, and they would all wear out to places, and nobody ever checked them,
Well,
but
Daddy
certainly
told
when
this
we
story.
do it, it's like, you need to like not be in your bonnet. But people used to walk around in their curlers, the big old curlers, and the scarf tied around and all other kind of stuff for years. So this is something that people have been doing for a long time. It's just recently that we've just taken it to a whole different level. Like you get
The
up,
clothes police.
the clothes
Well, that's
police.
the thing. It was two things. One that you mentioned that I think that might be a generational thing. I don't know if this generation cares as much, but we, as Black women, we used to always see ourselves based on, is what we're doing going to embarrass the race?
Yes. Yes.
Um,
That's what I talk about, the white gaze. That we're
yeah.
always worrying about the white
What
gaze.
are they going to think?
What are they going to
I don't
think
I don't
of
I don't
us?
think young people are as obsessed with that as our generation used to.
Mhm.
But I do know that we worry about, like, if my hair's not done, uh what's the word, nappy? Oh, my hair is nappy, because we would go through it, we went through a whole thing with our hair not being suitable or
Acceptable.
approved of by white society if they saw it in its natural state. We went through a whole metamorphosis of thought before we finally got to a point where we weren't embarrassed about looking like ourselves. But now,
Starting with the afros in the 60s.
yeah, so we had to undo a lot of that thinking. But now you do have people who will be embarrassed if they see a Black person, like I say, wearing that bonnet, which is supposed to be a thing that you cover on your hair at night and not to be worn outside. But then the same thing with the do-rag, that was supposed to
Right.
be the thing to keep your hair smoothed down at night. And then it got to be a fashion statement. And then people
Yes.
outside.
Especially with men who are keeping their hair nice or their locks nice. They don't want their
Or
locks
they're
messed up.
whatever
Or
ways.
they're bald.
Well, you don't need it then. But in terms of running out the house with your pajamas on, I remember Daddy told this funny story. I guess Mama was running a little late for the train, and he had to throw his coat on over his robe and run out the house. It didn't even have on his shoes. He didn't have his house shoes on, and just so happened he got pulled over by police. I think he might have ran a stop sign or something like that, trying to get her to the train, and police stopped him, and he didn't have no shoes on, and he was like, "Look, man, I'm just trying to get my wife to the train, and I didn't even have to put my shoes on." And I guess the policeman just kind of laughed and let him go because he looking like husband really trying to get my wife to the train with his
Or crazy man.
robe on, barefoot, throw a coat on, trying to get her to the train, run the stop sign, trying to get her to the train. So anyway, I think he, our father, of course, he talked himself out of the ticket. But it was funny because he was describing, he jumped out of bed trying to run out the house.
And because Daddy was such a sharp dresser.
Yeah, so that was not him,
And punctual.
Yeah.
And punctual.
Yeah. So
if you were on time, you were late with Daddy. Daddy was always early.
Yes.
So we used to always drive him crazy because everybody else in the house, all the women in the house were always late.
Yeah, so that was one of those mornings he was trying to get her out the house and didn't have time to get himself dressed or anything. But sometimes it's like that, when you're rushing and you put a coat on over pajamas or put house shoes on or something, like you say, though, it doesn't become an issue unless something happens unexpected and you end up having to go inside a building or something,
or your car breaks down
and you're wearing something inappropriate for the outside. But I don't know, have you all ever embarrassed your children wearing something that and they go, "Oh, Mom," have you ever done
I actually have not, full disclosure.
I probably have because I dress like a child.
Oh.
I like hoodies and and leggings and sweatpants, and I even wrote a column about it. I says I have more hoodies than I have anything else. So when I had to like start wearing grown-up clothes because I always work nights. So, I could wear hoodies and stuff, even though I says, now here I am, a a woman of a certain age that we would generously call like middle age because I'm planning on living until I'm 130, and I dress like a teenage boy. And but so I'm sure that embarrasses her from time to time, except that I do know how to dress up. I just don't like to. But I don't wear pajamas out only because she wears the pajamas out. But we do have matching pajamas, but
Ah.
but no, I'm sure I do, but when I have to step it up, I really can. I mean, I can dress up. Uh, so I don't know. I think I can find other ways to embarrass her if I really need that. Barbara, I'm sure you find ways to embarrass your children other than what you dress, how you dress.
Just being myself is an embarrassment to them.
Yes, yeah. I told Zakia I'm going to be embarrassing you for the rest of your life. Just get used to it.
Actually,
Well, you
probably
remember
the
that
rest of
time when
yours.
Lorelai first went off to college, and her
Yes.
what was it, the counselor on the floor or whoever she was
Her
introduced
her
herself.
resident advisor was named Zena, and Barbara
Zena.
had to do the Zena scream.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so disgusted with her. So disgusted.
And the girl did not even flinch.
She might
Because
miss it a lot, or not,
or she might have just been embarrassed for you like I was.
or she probably she's just used to keeping a straight face in the face of insanity. She's like, oh.
Exactly. Just back away. But no, but I don't know. I mean, our children are all grown. I don't police what they wear.
Mm-mm.
And at some point, like with Lorelai, if you're inappropriate, somebody's going to send you home. I mean, they do know enough to dress for the office, how to dress for the office, how to dress for
Yeah.
church, how to dress for, whether they choose to do it is one thing, but they all know. And I think we need to stop policing other people in our community who we don't know, who we have no stake in, and we need to stop pretending like if another woman wears a bonnet, it means something to all of us.
Well, I think that that's a part of what we have to develop into as a people who respect everybody's decisions to express themselves however they wish to express themselves. Why should it matter to me what you put on your body? Why am I thinking I should have an opinion about it? I remember Will and Jada Smith.
Oh, you froze.
I wonder what she was going to say.
We'll find out soon. Well, until you unfreeze, we're going to talk about you.
Yeah, there you go.
But well, that's one of the things that as part of the community we're constantly, policing each other and pretending like
Something that you don't think they should be wearing.
oh, okay, you have to go back because you froze.
Yeah, and my screen went blank. So what happened was I was saying Jaden Smith was talking about when he was younger, he liked to do social experiments, like see how people would respond if he wore a dress, and he's a male. And I think people get all upset about, oh, how do you wear a dress? And the whole idea was for people to think, why does it matter?
Right.
And why are you upset over what I'm wearing? How's that bothering you? And the thing is, you have to think about that. Yeah, why is this a big issue? How's business?
And if you think about it, women are always being policed. Young girls are always being told that they should not wear something because it's a distraction for the boys. They can't wear short shorts. They can't wear spaghetti straps because that's a distraction for the boys. They don't tell the boys that they can't wear short shorts. And actually there's these things on TikTok where people are saying, "Oh no, you need to wear a sweatshirt because people saw, you wearing sweatpants. We don't want to upset anyone." It's like we are grow up being policed all the time, as women are always being policed by what they're wearing because of what somebody else might do. That's a whole different conversation about wearing just your pajamas. Oh, you can't wear anything low cut, you can't wear anything tight, you can't wear anything short, you know uh you can't have your butt cut out for whatever reason. You want to wear jeans that have your butt showing. I don't know. If I don't like it, I don't have to look. You know what? Eyelids work. uh Moving my head works. But we're constantly policing each other on what other people should be wearing, as if that's going to be bringing down the race.
So what are your thoughts on the sag and how the
I
pants hang below
really
your
don't like that. But and you know what? When I can't police it, it's when it's in my house, because I don't want to see your drawers in my house. So if you come to my house, and I was very good. I mean, I
Oh,
loved
bro.
I loved all of Sarah's male friends that would come to the house. But if they were sagging, I tell them, pull your pants up. And you know what? They always did, because I'm the mom, and I'm sure they heard that at their own houses.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna come up to some young man that I don't know
And
and
I
tell
have
him to
friends
pull
who
his pants.
do. I
Mhm.
have friends who do, which I like you say, what are we doing policing other people?
Yes.
I've had I've had a lot of friends who feel like it's their duty to tell some young man, pull your pants up. And some young men might comply, and some might feel like, hey, my behind ain't none of your business. It ain't bothering you.
Except
So
if they said something, obviously it was bothering them.
yeah.
Some people
Yes.
have that mom complex where they see someone and feel the freedom to tell them to pull their pants up.
See, some
I
of that
have,
I can roll my eyes and let it go, because it's annoying, and it's uh not a great look. I really will be glad when it's over. But then there are other things where the mom will and me will step out. Like there was once I was in the tea at the subway, and the young girl, she's sitting there, and she had just paid for something, and she's got her money in her hand, and she's not paying attention. And I said, "Honey, put your money away." And she
Mhm.
says, "Oh, okay," because she wasn't thinking, but I was thinking like a mom. You're not thinking if somebody can either snatch it, or you can
Right.
drop it or something.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what you're doing right now, finish that task, and then you can go to whatever drink you want
Right.
or whatever. So that's the kind of thing that I say,
Yeah.
okay, if your outer mom or your inner mom has to kick in for the good of something other than aesthetics.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of funny that a lot of people who a lot of women who are offended when someone tells them, or they're showing too much cleavage and this and that kind of thing. Uh, but then when they see a young man with his butt out, they're offended and will say, you need to pull your pants up. So I think either we're going to have a standard that everybody agrees to, what body parts should probably be private, just like pajamas, you keep that indoors, your breast, your crack of your behind, whatever that's best to be kept to yourself. Either we're going to agree on it, or we're just going to accept whatever people choose to show and leave them alone. But you almost can't really have the double standard of
No,
you
no.
police the boys and not the girls, you police the girls, not the boys. If everybody feels like, look, my body, I show it if I wanna, or nobody show anything between the neck and the knees, whatever it is, we think that this should be the standard that everybody's going to agree to.
And that's not going to happen. So
It's
let's
not
just
gonna
leave
happen.
everybody alone.
And that's probably the best thing. Let's just leave everybody alone. Let people express themselves however they deem appropriate. Raise your children to understand some rules of conformity, just out of a sense of respect for other people's sensitivities, but don't judge other people for however they feel like they need to express themselves. And that's probably the hardest thing, because everybody always feel like other people need to change to fit their standards.
Right. And we should all just be wearing leggings and hoodies.
Well, you know, in the future, everybody's gonna have this one piece that just covers, like Star Trek. You know, you got
apparently that's what
that's it.
every futuristic thing that you've ever seen, everybody's wearing a onesie.
Yep.
Well, apparently that's where we're going, and
That's where we're headed. Everybody's just gonna have their onesie, and you know,
and we'll be fine. You know,
we'll be fine.
Now you know we already had those onesies when we were in gym.
Yeah, oh, those are ugly.
Well, these things aren't going to be that much better.
Yeah, but at least everybody be wearing the same thing, so nobody will be upset.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why they even have uniforms in school now too. That uniform thing in a lot of schools where everybody has to look the same, and so there is no wardrobe fashion fight.
Right.
But there's also, they do that because then you don't have kids who are
class thing, you know.
Class, there's class thing, because you're not wearing the Air Jordans, or you're not wearing the this, or you're not carrying this, or you know. So it's to keep people from segregating each other and themselves depending on perceived status or you know, money or that kind of stuff, because you can afford to wear the more expensive, you know, clothes.
Right. And clothes really don't matter. At the end of the day, it's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside.
Yes.
That's really what we have to teach. Well, we got to go, y'all. It's that time. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, 3 Black Moms, and like us on Facebook, our Facebook page, 3 Black Moms. Until next time, I'm Naima.
I'm Cheryl with my hoodie.
And I'm Barbara. We're 3 Black Moms. Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black Moms.